Everybody, welcome to another episode of No Vacancy, now recorded. Suzanne, how are you doing?
I am doing great. Excited for today's show.
I'm excited for today's show too, and I should say my name is Glenn Hausman. Thank you so much for joining us, and I also want to thank our good friends over at I'll Do This, Actabl. If you could hit the other one, Actabl. They give you the power to profit. Please check out our friends over at Actabl.com. I got a great suite of products, Profit Sword, hotel effectiveness stuff. It is good. Please check them out. And I will tell you what, Suzanne, one other thing that's really good is that we get to talk to some of the top people in the industry, right? I got to talk to Jeff Bellotti, the CEO of Wyndham, a couple of weeks ago, but that doesn't really give us an accurate story of the beautiful hospitality industry that we live in. Speaking of beautiful, look at this place.
I know, this is going to be really exciting.
Right. And for those of you on the audio feed, I pity you. You should really check out our video feed today because this place is absolutely beautiful. I'm talking about Bolt Farm Treehouse, which has really been winning a lot of accolades, getting incredible business, but it's more than that, Suzanne. It's really, this story to me, besides them being freaking cool, and we'll meet them in a second, it's really a story about how hoteliers can empower themselves to take control over their destiny outside the traditional ways of marketing. So let's welcome Seth and Tori Bolt of Bolt Farm Treehouse. Hey guys, how are you?
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit gabby today, guys. I don't know what it is. You would think I would not talk so much, but what are you gonna do? So Suzanne, what do you think of these guys over here and what we're looking at?
I'm really pretty excited. I really want to get the understanding as to how you got inspired to build a tree house on the edge of a ledge like that, and just your general business model.
And then more. I think you have 12 units altogether.
24, right. My friend.
24.
Oh, wow.
All right. We've been trying to cut down our shows in half size to make it more digestible. I'm sorry I did that with your resort. Yeah.
It all started with a treehouse that Seth built with his dad by hand for our wedding and our honeymoon. And it was on the family farm where he grew up. And we stayed there and we got to experience firsthand just how powerful environments can be. Like I had another career. I was working in broadcast news and we were like, okay, we're a new couple. What do we want to do with our lives? And what problem do we want to spend our lives solving? And so we took the time in the treehouse to not only have fun and connect with each other, but to dream and journal, think and pray about our life. And everything was pointing to building more environments like this. And so soon after that honeymoon, I quit my job. We sold our house and we went all in on scaling this dream.
All right. So that's a pretty gutsy move. And one of the things that we like to talk about here are making those gutsy moves. How did you go about emotionally and financially preparing to take such a giant leap? And you guys don't know me from Adam, but when I started this company, I had to make a big leap of faith and take a chance on myself. So how did you guys do that?
Yeah, we're dreamers. And we believe in ourselves. We believe in the mission and why we exist. So we're quickly becoming the #1 bucket list romantic getaway. And it really started by love. It was inspired by love. It was gutsy, for me to, for those of you who are on audio only, you're not seeing the most beautiful woman in the entire world standing next to me, Tori Bolt. But I knew I had to really swing for the fences to get her to marry me. And when I met her, that first treehouse was under construction, and I decided I was going to make that our honeymoon gift.
That's awesome.
So I grew up in construction. So I think growing up just doing hard things and really growing up on a farm where we grew our own food, and we literally built houses out of lumber that we cut down from trees that we harvested. I got the premium childhood package that really at the time I hated it because it was just lots and lots and lots of hard work, but it gave me the grit and I think the confidence to really pursue big things. And so I think once we also we get married on the family farm, Bolt Farm, and then, honeymoon in the treehouse, and then open it up to Airbnb. It quickly becomes the #1 Airbnb in South Carolina. And the stories from guests are what really fueled the desire to actually do more of this. And we quickly had a 6-month waiting list. And I think when you can see, there's this quote I love that's just like, your purpose is really found at the intersection of your greatest talent and the world's biggest need.
Mm-hmm.
And even back in 2015, 2016, we were like, man, the world's getting crazy and busy, and people are kind of getting disconnected. And like, that's just unfortunately, devolved even further, where people don't look each other in the eye anymore. And you can be in a family or, be running a business and just like, going through the motions and not have that like sacred quality time that you need to strengthen your relationships, with your significant other, or the people that you're building something really big with in a business. So we created this place in Tennessee for people to reconnect. And I think we knew, we looked at the impact as being worth the risk.
Yep.
And it's really paid off for both all our guests and for Bolt Farm Treehouse.
Yeah, sure has. Suzanne, you got something you want me to, talk there?
I guess I was going to say from that opportunity and seeing how you had a 6-month waiting list, what then made your strategy go into one unit to how were you going to scale so that you could try and fill that need as you started to identify?
And before you do that, let me just throw out a couple of quick statistics. You guys are doing a 100% direct-to-consumer booking model. Insane. 94% occupancy year-round. Last year, you got 14% ADR increase, 16% repeat guests. And I think a lot of that magic is probably happening through Instagram, where you get more than 50% of your reservations, 60 to 70%, and you're closing in on 600,000 Instagram followers.
Yeah. Dude, actually, like it's been growing like crazy. So we just crossed the 630,000 mark.
Oh, sorry. Just so everybody knows, the number I was given was 576. So I tried to compensate a little bit. Still not good enough. Pretty impressive, guys.
Yeah. And the booking rate too. I mean, since last year, we've just continued to add more value to the experience and a closer connection with our guests. That number is now more like 25 to 30% booking rate. And the thing that's really noteworthy about that is they're booking their next stay before they leave property.
Wow.
No way.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
That is pretty impressive. Okay.
1 in 4 guests.
Seth, go on. You were going to say something?
1 in 4 guests. Yeah. A rebooking.
Sorry, so let me ask you about this. And I do want to talk about some of the design and stuff that plays into this in a couple of minutes. But it's so important because when I'm out there on the road, when I'm delivering keynote speeches to hotel groups, I keep preaching these days, you got to get back to basics. You've got to do all of these things. You're doing some of these basics, but you're really doing it in a modern kind of way. And I think, Tori, because of your television experience, that was probably helped you understand this still blossoming medium here. How did you go about building that Instagram following, and how crucial do you feel social media overall has been to your business model?
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely crucial. That said, we aim to not have more than 20% of revenue coming from one single acquisition stream. So you really round that out, because those platforms could go away tomorrow. And so more than anything, like, yes, it's important, but even more important is your email list. Like, do you have control of communicating with your people, your fans and your guests? But with Instagram, I still remember the days that I was posting and we had 150 followers, it was like the early days. And so honestly, the secret sauce and magic was consistency over the last 10 years. And I know that's not the answer some people want, because you want that quick success, but I think
there's no quick success. You
got to show up and put in the work. And I also think that people connect with people more than they connect with businesses by a mile.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if you've got a property or multiple properties and you're trying to just only show houses and not tell your story about like why you created it or why you're different or what you're building, it's not going to stick. And so we were very like founder-led, founder-facing from day one and show up that way. We also brought our audience into a lot of our design decisions. We're like, hey, we're doing a poll. Which wallpaper do you like? Which bed do you like? And we would genuinely go with their answers. So they have buy-in, and now they want to see that finished product.
Right. That's an amazing way for people to connect with people. Right, Suzanne?
Yeah, definitely. A great opportunity to be fun that way, and then use that as the toy to like, hey, come in and check to see what you selected, and now it's that wallpaper on the wall. Or
I'll add this as well. Like, I mean, if you think about the time spent by consumers on social media versus on online travel agencies, I mean, that pie graph would look like Pac-Man. I mean, like you're really, they're only going to OTAs if they're like, okay, now I'm ready to book something. Let me check it out. But like where they're spending all their time, seeing what's out there in the world are on social platforms. So really, we just were like, well, we don't want or need the OTAs. We want to have a direct relationship with our people. We don't want to play some value discount game. It cheapens the brand and the product that we have created. And so we just focus on sharing that value on socials.
Well, that's because you have no elevator to put those OTA reservations next to. So
that's really funny. At Bolt Farm, you've got all of these different tree houses, #1 Airbnb in South Carolina. And what I love is that it's not cookie cutter. You're doing different designs, different areas, different moods and experiences, kind of the vibe I'm getting from up here on Long Island. Well, that's not Long Island. That's Bolt Farm behind me. But you know what I'm saying. So, Seth, tell me a little bit about the inspiration process from the time you built that first one to building out the resort today.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we saw the potential early on for the impact it could have.
Yeah.
And so I love, like, I think in terms of scale. So for me, I was always like, okay, we have a really good thing. How can we get it to the most amount of people? And so Tori actually found this property. What's behind you is in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
It's close to Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Yep.
So it's this beautiful, like, we got about a mile of this bluff frontage. You got a view of 3 states from the property.
Wow.
And we have tree houses, mirror cabins, and domes, and 24 of those. And like the inspiration is beauty. I think like when you surround yourself with beauty, it does something to your spirit and your soul. Like it's just like that's the magic of it. And so we actually camped up here in a tent on the property because there was nothing here before we were here.
Right.
And really just, as hippie as this sounds, like let the land speak to us and tell us like what wanted to be where as we were developing it. And so in my past life, I traveled and played music with the band Need to Breathe for like 23 years, went around the world, like experienced the best and the worst of hospitality. And I took notes the whole time about what was amazing and what I would do differently.
Yep.
And so I view this as like my opportunity to really change the game. Like,
so give me a couple of things that you did differently.
Well, number one, like a lot of hotels, they spend all the money on the lobby, which you're only in for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, half an hour if it's a really
bad check-in experience.
Yeah, if you're in there for a half an hour, then something else is going on.
Yeah. And then you go to the room and like everything, it's just incredibly scaled down and cheap and nothing like that lobby experience you just had. So I was like, I want to flip that paradigm and put all the value in the room. So like every room has a chandelier and a hammered copper tub and your own like massive terrace, which is something you can't, you don't get. You get like a little smoking balcony at a hotel if you upgrade to the highest thing.
No, you have a smoking balcony that was 30 years ago, and now it's sealed off with screws.
Yeah, exactly. Like like it's been completely neutered. So, your own hot tub.
Speaking of
showers, indoor showers.
Yeah.
Hand carved furniture. Like to me, it was I was like, I want it to almost feel like you're in like a art gallery of craftsmanship. So like the Chase Lounge you're seeing, like that's actually hand carved. Every piece of furniture you see is hand carved.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And that's all custom. It's all stuff that we've done. So really wanted like this artisan boutique experience because I'm a creative and I think that's the magic. Right. I mean, people spend most of their lives around, in boxes or cubicles or stuff that just comes from like IKEA or China or whatever. And it's just, it's made to be cheap and mass produced. And that is the opposite of what I think a getaway should be. And now, like, I mean, even when I have to stay in an Airbnb or something somewhere and I'm like, okay, yeah, they did the Wayfair cheapo package. And I'm like the bed's not comfortable. It's just, there's like people have lost the plot in hospitality and we put the guest experience at the top of, the pinnacle of the goal. Like we literally, like, every stay, we're like, it's going to be 5-star, and we've got an incredible team. Because I think, we can talk about the design and the location, because those two things are top notch, but like the people that work on the team are the ones who deserve all the credit. They're the ones who are like making magic happen, being incredibly thoughtful, showing up like immediately. There's not most experiences where you're renting something like this. It's maybe a one-off mom and pop or something. If it's a tree house, like,
Right.
if you've got a need, like, there's no one on site to help you. You may have to wait an hour or a day to get help. We have staff that live on property to like immediately into needs, and we've built a big team around that. And honestly, we are attracting like the top 1% of talent. We've had 11,000 people apply to work at Bolt Farm Treehouse in the last year.
Wow, that's impressive.
11,000, and a lot of people are coming to us from luxury hospitality, because, as y'all know, like, a lot of the like, classic, iconic names and hotels, they've all been bought by private equity, and then the revenue people that look at it have squeezed out a lot of the magic. So there's people there who are thinking like, man, it's not what it used to be, and only if they'd listen to the feedback from like their staff, like, we could make this better. But there's too much corporate red tape, and like, obviously the private equity companies are just like, let's make it profitable and let's sell it to somebody else. So we're the opposite of all that, and it's a lot of
Seth, I got to tell you how right on target you are with every single thing you just said. I swear I could have been talking to anybody at a bar, at a conference, expressing the same feelings about what's going on right now. Impressive that you're keeping it so different. And I think that is why people are responding. They've noticed you're not going to be the lowest common denominator. But how are you thinking about that now in the framework of the short-term rental industry, which, quite frankly, has a lot of really bad operators that are making the entire concept seem like a misfire?
Yeah. We're outsiders to hospitality. So I think that's a benefit, because we don't have any preconceived notions of like what it's supposed to be. Like, and if you can't tell, I'm not a status quo guy. I'm like, I want to be the best. Best is the standard, is our number one core value. And we have a team full of people who are all in on that. And like, a lot of places are just like, they're too big to do it as well as we do. They got hundreds of rooms at a location,
or too absent, right? There's people who are like, oh, this seems like a great industry to get in. I've got some land, I'm gonna manage this and run it from across the country. It's different. Like, we are on property almost every day.
Wow.
The epicenter of it all.
Yeah, imagine, just think about how that trickles down. If like if a hotel property is bought for like passive income, and the owner of it doesn't really want to do anything at all and just hopes it runs and they don't get bad reviews, like, that's a pretty low bar.
Right.
I think, like, I'm a big believer in like founder-led companies, where the founder they have a vision, they have a passion for what they want to do. They know that they're going to do something that's game-changing. And in our case, like, our mission is to revolutionize hospitality and human connection. And here we are, where, we're just entering this new paradigm where we have, artificial intelligence, and everyone's thinking about like, how is this going to help or hurt hospitality? And I'm like so deep into strategy on how it's going to be the superpower behind what we do, because we will be high tech so that we can be high touch. The best technology is invisible. And so when you really have, and we're hiring engineers, we're hiring the AI experts and the people who love hospitality and technology, so that I really view that as our competitive advantage. And I see a big shift in the way that that staffing will happen in the future. And like, humans are crucial. Like, humans are going to be still the best part of hospitality. It's just, at Bolt Farm, they're going to be supercharged and super served by, a digital workforce of AI agents that are saying, hey, we know we like, this guest likes this thing and they bought this the last time, and so let's give this to them as a surprise and delight moment. And it's going to be, I envision it be more like, guest services is elevated to where you're like we call them dream weavers, from the book Unreasonable Hospitality, Will Guidara. And and how fun is that? I've seen way too many people at the hotel check-in, just like with a frown on their face, looking down at the computer, pecking away, clicking, just trying to get me into a room. And I'm like, this doesn't look like fun for you. This doesn't feel like hospitality for me. We're going to get rid of all that. And people just get to come up and like bring joy to people's lives on a daily basis. How many people in hospitality wish that was day to day? It's like, man, could I just like wow one person after another with thoughtfulness and love and care? I mean, that's what the guest wants. So I don't know how that plot was lost, but like it is alive and well at Bolt Farm Treehouse.
Oh my goodness. Suzanne?
And he's not passionate about it at all, if you can tell.
So you mentioned, a really great point in terms of the front desk, and that's one of my second hotel jobs, was having been a front desk agent and really connecting with people, because I felt that was important, but you had to deal with technology. Now you have so many different unique properties on your farm. What is that check-in experience like? Because do you have a front desk because you put all of your emphasis into the guest experience in the guest room? Share with us a little bit about what that experience is like for your guests.
Yeah.
We do. And it feels more like we're inviting you into our home, in our kitchen, than anything. It's not this cold, stale, giant lobby. Like, it literally feels like a kitchen. It's a multi-purpose building, basically, where everyone comes and checks in. We also use it for happy hours. So our guests, they're here on property, being alone with the person they came with for the majority of their stay, but they have these moments for community and connection, and we'll have live music and wine, and it's just a party. But when they check in, I mean, it's all about the show. AI and technology has taken care of everything, all the logistics, right? And so all that we have to do is, maybe grab a credit card on file, and that's it. The rest of it, it's all about, hey, let me give you this glass of champagne. In the summertime, we're giving you a cold towel infused with lavender. In the winter, it's warm. There's chair massages. It's just all about being pampered and taken care of. So even that is an experience. And I think it's one of the most important ones, because it's that first impression. Your first and last impression are what your people are going to really remember.
Wow. Yeah, this has been awesome so far. So Suzanne, and to reframe what we've talked about today, we talked about grit, looking people in the eye, connecting people with people, getting back to basics, making people feel loved and at home. I don't know why we don't have more conversations like this, guys. This is pretty awesome. So, in terms of the overall Airbnb industry, short-term rentals, where do you think that's heading compared to maybe some observations you've made in the general hotel industry? And I understand that you guys are kind of like sitting to the side, not needing like a platform like Airbnb or one of those others because you're so successful on your own.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Interesting things are happening. I mean, obviously with COVID, we saw like a flood of supply enter like 2020, 2022. And then there's like the Airbnb bust movement, where just, everyone who got into it then, and also you're kind of at the mercy of like however they change their algorithms. So I don't know. I think the cream will always rise to the top. So it's we're living in like the evolution of things where it's highly competitive, be great or you probably will die.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, my concern is that there are just so many people that have flooded into the market. The overall quality of experience has dropped with a lot of those inexperienced operators that aren't taking the care or effort like you folks are. But I know you're trying to prevent that because you guys are out there actually doing a STR, short-term rental. Not to confuse it with our friends at CoStar, formerly STR workshop last year. And focusing on entrepreneurs. What is that experience like for you guys?
Yeah, so we started them last year and we're doing them quarterly. We have one coming up in August, and we basically invite a small group of people who own hospitality businesses. It doesn't have to be a short-term rental or treehouse just like ours. It's anyone who's looking to scale their hospitality business and really elevate the guest experience, because that is what we do best. And I think that is what gives you like a legacy brand and company. And so you come to Bolt Farm for a 2-day immersive. It's awesome. You get like a behind the scenes tour of all the villas, our job site, seeing what's under construction, our operations building. And then we're teaching on every, relevant topic. And it's really attendee informed. So like they're doing this pre-work to really uncover like where they're stuck and their biggest challenge. And we're communicating and teaching around that. Very intimate, a lot of Q&A. It's a great time. And it's been awesome just to see some of the people who've been part of that group and the ongoing mentorship just thrive. Like I think of Billy, who he's like increased his nightly rate by $75, and that's what we're all about. Like, hey, build value. It's not just about discount strategy and filling it, it's like,
and it's not just about Airbnb,
right.
it's really, hotels wanting to improve their guest experience. It's for, even if, regardless of what real estate you're in, like if you have guests coming, if you have a restaurant, you've got a guest experience that's really crucial. So we talk about guest experience and business growth strategies.
That's pretty cool. And I know a lot of people that probably find that very interesting for sure. So I got anything else for our amazing people?
I'm looking to see what's ahead for your future. Obviously you doubled in the course of this show from 12 to 24 units. So
pretty impressive.
By the time we're done, are we going to be up to 48?
Yeah. So what's your growth plan? And also, Seth, tell us your growth plan and how you're going to keep control over it so you don't get too big and ruin what's special about it.
Yeah. So on the 55 acres here, we just opened our 24th unit, which is like a really crazy floating mirror, like first of its kind, suspended between two boulders with a view of 3 states. It's nestled right next to our new wellness haven that we just opened and built this year, which it's like a multi-acre spa concept with the like perched out on this rock outcropping. Sauna, spa, steam, multiple treatment rooms. We've brought in the best massage therapy talent for that. And then we have 11 more tree houses under construction. One of them will be a waterfall tree house with a glass floor underneath it so you can see the waterfall.
That's pretty cool.
And we're building the team. We're in team building mode. We're growing. Obviously, like this year we'll add, we'll get about 50% in terms of the number of villas we have on the property. And so, a lot of our days look like, looking through those thousands of applications and identifying the people that are going to help us revolutionize hospitality and human connection.
How do you even begin to look through 11,000 applications?
Yeah. Yeah. And then, a real, like really thoughtful, creative, fun, like interview process.
Yeah.
Where we really get to know each other.
One thing I want to double click on too is something I think that we do differently is we're not just looking at resumes. Like, I don't care if you spent 15 years at Marriott. We care about what you did, your accomplishments list. We love working with people who don't even have a hospitality background. And I find on our team, we have a lot of people who were in competitive sports because that is the character and grit factor that it takes to get something like this off the ground and scale it.
Yeah, or they grew up on a farm, or they just they grew up doing things. But like I would say, relentless drive and no ego that's the type of person that really thrives here. And we operate entirely differently. Like we don't have the traditional hotel org chart. And a lot of people, they want to grow, but like they can't. And so here we just look at it things much differently and have a different structure altogether. Like if you want to lead and thrive, like this is the place to do it. If you want to express your hospitality, whether that's through guest services or if you want to lead a team of talented people to, build one of the biggest brands in outdoor hospitality, like this is the place to do it. And I welcome anyone listening who this is resonating with to apply.
Awesome. Good, because you didn't get enough applications. So at least you got the AI to take care of the next 20,000 that you'll get over there. Seth, Tori, anything else we need to know besides going to boltfarmtreehouse.com, boltfarmtreehouse.com to learn more?
I think you nailed it.
Yeah. We love the hospitality industry. We appreciate what y'all do. Like, thank you for reminding everyone of what's really important and the important mission we have to serve people, because like as crazy as the world is, some people only get 1 or 2 vacations a year. Like that, it's got to count. Like that vacation is either going to inspire them to do great things the next year and show back up better for their kids and for the teams that they lead, or they're going to get back home exhausted. Yeah. And so it's a big responsibility. So it's a heavy crown to wear, but it's essential, especially as high as stress levels are, and as hard as people are working and all that in the world we live in today. So thank you.
That's amazing. That's a great place to leave it. Tori, Seth, thank you so much for being here, and please hang out. Suzanne, That was freaking awesome, right?
I'm pretty stoked. Like if there was an opportunity where I could actually take a vacation right now, that's where I would be jumping towards, because it's something so unique. I love the fact that they're engaging in that thoughtful, purposeful, driven engagement with their guests to elevate that experience. Even in a treehouse, you wouldn't necessarily think that. You kind of think Swiss Family Robinson, but like they've taken it to a whole different level.
They sure have. And I just came up on my picture memory thing. I haven't taken a vacation in 3 years this month. So I'm doing something wrong over here. Don't make my mistakes. Do something right. Why don't you make sure you download this podcast wherever you get your shows? And of course, follow us on LinkedIn, YouTube, and the other places. I got to do better on Instagram because I got to follow Tori's recommendation. You got to be everywhere because we don't need to get screwed over here. So remember, everybody, you got one life. So blaze on and
follow your passion.
See you next time. Be well, everybody.